Okay, we are back. Business Leadership South Africa says small businesses need to be adequately empowered to create more jobs for the economy to grow. The organization launched a BLSA Connect, which is designed to achieve sustainable linkages and networking platform between corporate South Africa and black-owned suppliers. It aims to integrate black-owned suppliers in the value chain of corporate South Africa, including procurement, distribution and sales. To tell us more about the fund, we're joined in the studio by Busi Mavuso, who is Chief Operations Officer of Black Leadership South Africa. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, Colin, for inviting us.
All right, this initiative of BLSA Connect, how did it come about?
So it came about when we relaunched our organization in 2016 to try and reposition ourselves as business in terms of focusing on the issues that matter to the majority of the citizens of this country. And I think it was really precipitated by the view that the business of business cannot continue being just business. Business needs to focus on more on ensuring that we start making shifts towards socio-economic transformation. And in line with our first strategic pillar, which is inclusive socio-economic growth and transformation, we thought that the best tool, the best vehicle, the best intervention that business can make in terms of making those socio-economic transformation changes would definitely be to assist SMMEs, but not just SMMEs, black SMMEs in particular. Because I think, let's agree, in a country where 82% of the population is black, until we have focused on that cohort, you haven't even begun to scratch the surface. And I think let's also agree that the growth that is envisioned in this country is only going to come from the continued growth and emancipation of SMMEs and black SMMEs in particular. So I think our headspace and our view, is really to try and achieve inclusive socio-economic growth and transformation.
Some of these SMMEs are marginalized because of their locations, and perhaps those who are running them would not be having, that technical know-how as well as being business savvy. How are you then going to connect them so that they can be included in the fold?
So it's a very comprehensive program, Colin. So we are going to be using the monies that are dedicated to enterprise and supplier development by our member companies, which is 86, organizations, top 100 JSE listed companies. And we are going to be using this ESD funding as an enabler, but not only to train these SMMEs to do the business diagnostic, to do the vetting of these SMMEs to ensure that they indeed do have a product that they can actually deliver to corporates, and to ensure that they are in a position to can trade. And until and unless we have satisfied ourselves that we've actually put them through the program and they are ready to access the market, only then are they going to find themselves in the online trading platform, wherein the 86 companies of BLSA can therefore utilize their services. Because I think we also have a problem that we seem as business to be using enterprise and supplier development as an end in itself, and through this initiative we are saying that the end goal, to ESD is actually preferential procurement. So black SMMEs cannot continue being candidates for perpetual training without graduation. So yes, let's train them, but we had better thereafter, ensure that there is going to be opportunities that they get through our value chain. Because I think you can imagine the billions that corporate South Africa and our big businesses are actually spending on a year-to-year basis. And we're saying that big business cannot continue doing business with just big business. To what extent are we therefore starting to put, these SMMEs into our value chain so that we can spare the economic growth that we need to?
The issue of trust,
yes,
experience and credibility comes into question here.
Absolutely.
Then most of the businesses, like 47% of them, go under after a gradual process of about 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
So then how are you going to really protect this trust in terms of how the stakeholders view the new SMMEs?
So I think it's you're touching on a very important point. It's the continued support, it's the continued mentoring, it's the continued infrastructure that we're going to give to these SMMEs to ensure that they are sustainable. Because if you look at the reasons as to why these black SMMEs in particular fold in the first 6 to 18 months, it is precisely because you get a tender of 10 million and the first thing that you do, you probably don't even know the difference between income and cash. This money comes in, you forget that you first have to service the contract before you can actually, and I can't go now and pay for my kids' school fees out of this same, tender. So the training that we're going to be taking them through is precisely, based on the different tenets of business and what it is, it makes and it takes for you to be a successful enterprise, as it were. And we're actually going to be using our same CEOs, to actually mentor these businesses. If it's an IT company, we've got a dimension data. If it's someone in the financial services, we've got all the big 5 banks which are members of BLSA. So we'll actually be drawing on the expertise of our big businesses to actually mentor these organizations, as it were.
There's so much to talk about.
Absolutely.
I mean, regarding barriers to market entry, as well as other related issues in terms of these businesses scaling onto greater heights. But then, what criteria are you going to use for them to access these funds, and who can aspiring entrepreneurs contact?
So any aspiring entrepreneur and any entrepreneur can actually come to BLSA Connect, but you will only be able to access the market and benefit from the supply chain once we have put you through the rigorous process and we've satisfied ourselves as BLSA that you indeed do have a product to offer.
Right. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us.
Thank you very much, Colin.
Right. Busi Mavuso is the Chief Operations Officer of Black Leadership South Africa, Business Leadership South Africa. I beg your pardon. We're going to take a break, and when we return, the headlines with Peter and Palace.